perfect example of this. People love Oprah because she's a self made billionaire and she's black. She set the tone for many black women, and to them, she is the shining example of virtue. Before, you never heard anything about her being involved in anything scandalous. Now, all you hear about her is that she was kidnapping girls in Africa, the same place where she was supposedly building schools for young girls and being close friends with Jeffrey Epstein, who was heavily involved in sex trafficking. Some are saying she might have even been involved in that and more. Little do people know Oprah might have come in the game clean, but in certain industries, if you want to maintain a certain status, there are things that you have to do to compromise your morals. And I believe that's what happened to her. She fell victim to corruption. And later down the line, she no longer saw it as wrong, but as a way to maintain her success. Sometimes there's no effort to put an end to it because there are dirty players who pretend to uphold the law and the wellness of democracy, but in reality, they're just as corrupt. Discernment is the ability to judge and perceive things that aren't straightforward and that aren't noticeable to most people. It is a God given gift that everyone is born with, along with intuition and other natural reflexes, and being able to decipher what's right from wrong. However, spiritual discernment is the ability to distinguish between good and evil spirits. This level of discernment is acquired by studying and reflecting on the Word of God. And that's it for me.
Awesome. Great job. Thank you.
Mr. Rose, can I go next?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Due diligence means carefully researching before making an important decision. People use it when buying a house, investing money, or signing contracts to make sure everything is fair and legal. For example, if someone wants to buy a house, they check for damages, review the price, and make sure the paperwork is correct. It helps people avoid mistakes and bad deals. It's basically a smart way to protect yourself before making a big choice. Discernment is the ability to understand or judge something wisely. It helps people tell the difference between right and wrong, truth and lies, or good and bad choices. For example, if someone offers you a deal that sounds too good to be true, discernment helps you realize it might be a scam. It's an important skill in life because it helps people make better decisions. Having discernment means thinking carefully instead of rushing into things.
All right. Awesome job. Thank you.
Oh, I'm not done.
Yep.
Corruption happens when people in power act dishonestly for personal gain. This can include things like taking bribes, lying, or using their position unfairly to benefit themselves. For example, if a politician takes money in exchange for changing the laws, that's corruption. Corruption is bad because it hurts fairness and trust in government, businesses, and even everyday life. It can make life harder for regular people while benefiting those who cheat the system. Financial equity means owning a part of something valuable, like a company or house. When someone owns shares of a company, that's equity in that business, meaning they own a small part of it. Homeowners also build equity as they pay off their mortgage, which means they own more of their house over time. Equity is important because it represents real value that people can use, sell, or borrow against. It's different from debt because you actually own something instead of just owing it. Owing money. And that's it.
Okay. My apologies earlier. Great job. Thank you.
Mr. Lewis, may I go next?
Yes, please.
Due diligence is doing your part when it comes to research on anything in case someone is giving you information and you want to make sure it's accurate information. You can use it to buy a car or a house or in preparedness to sign a contract. Financial equality is everyone, no matter race or gender, having the opportunity at a fair share of resources and benefits. In this, everyone had a chance to achieve their goal. It wasn't until the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s or World War I and II that women were seen in the workforce. Today, women don't get paid as much as men, even though they have the same qualifications and experience. On July 2nd, 1964, Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act into law, outlawing segregation in public places and when it comes to employment. This prohibited the law and people from discriminating against gender, race, or religion in employment. Corruption is not picking a side. A corrupted person has no loyalty and are selfish. They will do or take whatever might benefit them. Corruption means dishonesty. It's working both sides of the fence and not caring about what's wrong and what's right. A corrupt person only cares of money and power because greed and narcissism is the driving power behind why a person might turn corrupt. Discernment is the ability to uncover what is not known or seen. Use discernment not to judge, but to have an understanding and use it as a spiritual guidance to see if this person can be trusted or to invest in this thing or go down this road. It's not judging because judging is too harsh. It is more seeing a person's character and feeling if it's good, mediocre, or bad. And, that's it for me.
Awesome job. Thank you so much.
May I go next, please?
Yes, please.
All right. Due diligence. Due diligence means thoroughly researching and verifying important details before making a big decision. It helps avoid risk and spots potential problems. It makes smart, informed choices. Financial equality. Financial equality means everyone having the same chances to earn and save and use money, no matter who they are. It's like making sure everyone starts at a race at the same spot, so no one has an unfair advantage. Corruption. Corruption is when people in power cheat or break rules for their own benefit instead of doing what is right. Yeah, that's it.
You get discernment.
Oh yeah, I got it. I forgot that. My bad. Sorry.
Problem.
Discernment. Discernment means the ability to understand or judge things wisely. It's like knowing when a friend is being honest or like when they're trying to trick you. It helps you make good choices.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Excellent work.
Hi, Mr. Lewis. Can I go next?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Due diligence is the process or steps taken to be careful and thorough when exploring or investigating a person or business before making a decision and signing a contract. It is a common practice that includes reviewing risks and verifying information to make sure that what you're doing is safe and will benefit you. Then we have financial equality. It's the fair distribution of resources and opportunities, no matter the gender or other factors. It's important because it gives everyone the chance to achieve their goal. That is not a common theme in many situations. Then we have corruption. It is dishonesty or fraudulent conduct by those in power, including bribery. The term corruption comes from Latin, which literally means bribery or to destroy, which I thought was cool to know. It is also the action of making someone or something morally depraved. The word addict is closely related to corruption because of what it can do to you, just as how something can corrupt something that's good or pure. Then the sermon is usually a talk on a religious or moral subject. It's usually given during a church service and based on a passage from the Bible. However, a sermon can also be a long piece of admonition or a lecture. And yeah, that's all for me.
Okay. Excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that everybody? Okay, I think that's everybody. Thank you, all of you. Like I said, you guys do an excellent job every week. I'm so looking forward to Saturday morning just to hear from you. It is encouraging to hear from you. Like I said, that's my cherry on the top. Just to hear you speak. You don't want to be that person that doesn't speak. Okay? It's important for you to grow as an adult. You should be heard. Okay? The more you take the opportunity to speak, the stronger you become. If you're wrapped down, just barely peeking over, no one will ever hear from you. And then you're blocking yourself, you don't grow, you don't expand. Consequences. Okay. Now let's just back up real quick because listening to these definitions and your opinions on the word corruption, like I said, if you've been watching the past week on what's happening financially in this country, the corruption is being exposed. Where did the money go? Why did the money go there? 95% of the people behind us on that chessboard are corrupt. There is no honesty. There is no loyalty. Only usury. Okay, let's grab that second word, usury. Consequences, usury. And I want to pick out just a few things on this corruption that we have been exposed to. And you have to take your time and do the due diligence on the facts at hand. We're not listening and just running with it. We're taking the facts in and doing our own due diligence. If you look at the evidence that has been uncovered, you have to ask the question, why? Okay, a real simple process, really. There's either good or bad. You're either going to do good stuff and things, or you're going to do bad. It really boils down to that. And I, pray that all of you, as you grow up, are going to do good. Because you will have discernment, you will have an understanding of corruption. If you do something or take money because of what you're hearing from this person, you are corrupt. If you are really good at a certain subject and one of your classmates come up to you and say, I'll give you $20 if you give me the answers to the questions. I'll give you $50. You've been bought. You are corrupt if you do it. If you are in the situation, let's say outside of school, let's say it's, I don't know, you and your friends are cutting grass and you get to this one house and one of you really likes to cut grass and they cut most of the yard, right? They do more of the work and you kind of just played around with the trimmer or trimmed off a couple flowers while this person is walking that yard. Who's doing more work? This one, obviously, because he cut the yard while you're playing around purposely. You are corrupt. You are taking advantage of an individual instead of you pushing one side while he's pushing the other and you guys meet in the middle. That's teamwork. You have to learn teamwork because it's going to be part of your process the rest of your life. You're either a team player or you're a one-sider. The one-sider is usually corrupt because they're looking at the easy way out, the less work, process. Now, there's nothing wrong with working smart, but when you purposely step back and let other people work and then step forward when it's time to get paid, you are corrupt. So you have to be able to see it in yourself before you can see it in someone else. How do you act in a specific situation? What are you doing? Okay, next word, self-assessment. Self-assessment. That's you checking self. What are you doing? Are you doing homework? Are you just doing the homework? There's a difference between doing the homework and really doing the homework. Always go a little further just for you, not to impress anybody in the class or, whatever. Do it for you, because the more you work on you and the more you speak and provide input into society, the stronger you become. You become one of the pieces in the back. Like I was saying, the more you know, both places, up here and in here, the more you know between these two, the stronger you become. Okay? Last word today, I'm going to go with honesty. And Kai, you want to write those words down. Consequences, usury, self-assessment, and honesty. Those are your words for next week. So just do the best you can on finding out what these words mean. And then you're going to do just like the rest. You're going to come on and let me know what you found out about these 4 words. Okay. Due
Excuse me,
diligence.
Mr. Lewis. Sorry to interrupt you, but was the third word self-assessment?
Self-assessment. Good. All right. So outside of all of these things, like I said, due diligence is the biggest one, because you can do due diligence on someone, something, some situation, and self. And that's part of self-assessment, but I'm not going to give away that one. But due diligence is a very important word for you to truly, truly understand, because you have to use it every minute of every day of the rest of your life. Ask questions. Never just go by this, because if you do, you become the cancer of this country. And I'm talking about people that just hear something and just run with it instead of saying, is that actually what's happening? Or is that the outcome if we do that? Ask those questions. I know that, some people chastise younger people from asking questions. So you're afraid to ask questions for fear of oppression. That's another word, but we'll save that for next week. Being oppressed means you're not allowed to express. And I encourage expressment of self. I want to hear from you. I want you to get used to speaking. Get comfortable with it. Don't be afraid of it. It's very important. If you're hungry and you don't say nothing, and the food is being cooked and you don't say nothing, the food was served and you still shy, don't want to say nothing, stomach growling, you know you're hungry, but you don't say nothing. Food gets cleaned up, put away, and put in the fridge. Then you go to bed hungry because you didn't want to say something. Don't be that person. Ask, speak, express. Now, there's consequences to it, depending on what you're expressing. Don't be a Karen that you have seen on YouTube, I'm sure. If you haven't, look them up. You'll see what they are. Very ugly people, because they go off of this, what they think they heard that they think they know, and they act on it. Okay? Don't be that person. Don't be a Karen, but I do want to hear from you. I want you to speak. I want you to talk. I want you to be part of the community, a positive person. Yes, there's going to be negativity. There's going to be dark, and you're going to be tempted. Trust me. That's another word, but we'll save that one for next week. Trust is extreme. You have to do due diligence before you trust someone. Remember that. Ask questions. Why do you want me to come over there? Where are we going? How long are we going to be there? You need to know these things, because there are people, even your age, that are agents to get a hold of you and get you in a secluded area where you can be taken. All that kind of stuff. Trust, discernment, due diligence. Don't hang with somebody you don't know, which is taking me to my homework. So let me do that real quick, and then we can go into Q&A. 2 weeks ago, I requested from all of you, what would you like me to do homework on? And then I missed it last week, but I'm going to go over my homework this week. And there's 2 items: gun safety and internal damnation. Soul crushing. That's a huge subject. That's not something that can be done in 5 or 10 minutes, because that requires you to first understand damnation. And you also have to understand soul. The 2 objectives with that are a conversation by themselves. Internal. What is internal? And how long is it? Okay. So I'm going to start with that one. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. Internal damnation is your lack of due diligence on self-assessment. It's a lot of words. Let me break it down. Internal means within. And it is not just a short while. It's not just, you stole that Snickers and you knew you were stealing that Snickers. Or you got on the phone with a friend and you have another friend in common that this person is talking about, and you say, yeah, I know that she's stupid or he's stupid. Remember how when they were in front of the class and couldn't talk? You are damning yourself internally because you're judging someone with someone, consequences of a conversation. You input negative information. Don't ever do that. Because what you want to remember with internal damnation, you're doing it. Okay? By acting off of what you're hearing on the phone about this other person. And you start talking about that person. Why? What have they done to you that would make you talk about them? Maybe they need your help. Instead of being on the phone negatively about someone that you know nothing about, how about saying on the phone, okay, great, well, I got to do my homework, I get off the phone, and hang up. That's negative talk about somebody. You are passing judgment. That's an internal thing. You think you are above that person to pass judgment on them. Yeah, they're stupid. Are they? Maybe they're just shy. Maybe they didn't have someone in their life to ask them to read the dictionary so that they could use more vocabulary. But you did. So what are you supposed to do? Due diligence. Go talk to that individual. Ask questions. See how this question thing comes up? Internal. These are the things that are happening in here and in here. You know, pat your chest and rub your head, you know, that type of thing, and then switch. If you use the proper internal due diligence, you will never become someone who is willingly ready to tear somebody else down. The damnation of it is that everything that you speak against another person is also just when you print or point. You see my hand. I'm pointing at Kevin. I'm also talking to God. And I'm saying the same thing to myself 3 times. And for every one thing you say, or when you point at somebody, it's coming back to you 3 times, and God heard it. Because the thumb 9 times out of 10 is pointing up. These 3 here are pointing at you. So he's stupid. All right. Some people use just the one thumb down, but a lot of times that thumb is up. When you're using negativity, that thumb is going to be kind of pointed up, and you're just pointing at that person. It's still pointed up. The thumb is a very unique appendage. It's rounded. Why is it rounded? You see people say, yeah, thumbs up, good job. That's positive, right? He's stupid. It's negative. It's coming back to you 3 times, and God heard you. Simple things that you have to understand. Body language is everything. Internal is having that understanding so you don't do things like that or get on the phone and talk about somebody with someone else. Now you have a union in negativity about somebody that you pass judgment on. Internal. Soul damnation is when you do it regularly, because you have the opportunity to repent, which is to ask God in your total humble-minded way to ask forgiveness for what you did. If you don't repent or know what it means, look it up. Like I said, dictionary, start reading it. Soul damnation is basically the same thing, but worse. When you become the person that's creating a negative conversation, passing judgment on people, saying bad things, that I hope you die and all that kind of foolishness. When you put that kind of stuff out, trust and believe it is already put on you. So you have to be real careful what you say. All right, gun safety. I'm not going to get into that too deep. I'm going to share a video because I'm not going to put a weapon on the screen. I have them, but I'm not going to go get them and show you, but I'm going to share this video so that you can see gun safety. And you can also put that in YouTube and look it up yourself. Again, due diligence. So give me a second while I pull this up. And I do believe, let me know if you can hear. I'm going to click on a couple of them because this one's like a couple of minutes. Let me know if you can hear him. I guess it would help if I turn the sound on. Hold on. Where's the sound thing? Hold on a second.
A quick video for gun safe. Can you do a gun?
Okay, I had to turn the sound back on. Share screen. And like I said, you can do what I did. Just put it in anything you want to know, just put it in YouTube. Handgun safety, right? Put it in there. There's a couple thousand videos, literally. And the reason why it's difficult to do gun safety like that is because there's all kinds of weapons. Everybody doesn't have the same weapon. Now, I am ex-military and I am skilled in a few of them. I won't give out what they are, but trust me, I've been trained by the best. So let's listen to him real quick.
Safety video for all the people that don't know. Good question, and yes, I can.
Can you guys hear him first before I go any further?
Yeah, turn it up though.
I can't turn it up. I don't have a volume for them.
We can hear it. It's just a little soft, but we can hear it.
Okay. Let's see if I can.
And the first rule of firearm safety, treat every firearm as if it were loaded. Number 2, never point your firearm at anything you're not willing to destroy. Number 3, keep your finger off that trigger until you're ready to fire. And number 4, be sure of your target and what is beyond. And those are the 4 rules of firearm safety. Go train well.
All right. Now, I can show you with something similar just to talk about it. I'm just going to use these pair of pliers as if it's that weapon. And there are some things you need to know about a weapon and how to carry it. Let me grab one more.
Hello. So it's the apocalypse and you've never. How to clear and safe most
Hold on.
So it's the apocalypse and you've never shot a handgun. Let me show you how to do it. And if you have shot a handgun, make sure to send this to somebody who has not. Step 1, this is the trigger. Make sure you know what you're shooting, what's behind it, and you only put your finger on the trigger when you're ready to destroy what's in your sight. In general, just treat the gun as if it's always loaded. Though some handguns might be slightly different, they should all have these same mechanics. This is the Taurus G2C, and this button ejects the magazine. For most 9mm, push the bullet down and then back. Do this until your magazine is full, then insert it with a slap into your pistol. You can see you have your front sight and your rear sight. Line them up so they're in a line, and whatever's floating halfway on top of that front dot is going to be dead. Now remember, there's not a bullet in the chamber at this point. You got to pull back that slide, and as you can see, it feeds that round into the chamber. If your gun has a safety, disengage it, but many don't. Aim at your target and pull back on the trigger when you're ready to fire. Remember, this slide comes back and forth very quickly, so make sure your hand is low enough that it doesn't get in the way, or it will cut your hand open. That's how to operate a pistol in the apocalypse. Subscribe for more. So it's the apocalypse.
Okay, so you get the general idea. Hopefully you do. What I'm going to explain is a lot different. Because number one, everything that they said is exactly correct. I will say that. The mechanics of a weapon are different, vastly different. Similar mindset, similar, but they all work different. How you load them, what you're loading in them, how to engage it, or chamber, which is called putting a bullet in the chamber, either cocking it back or pulling back the hammer, and it rotates and puts the next bullet in the way of the firing pin, which is internal things inside of the weapon. Now, when he said, when you hold the weapon, you have to hold it low enough because this fatty meat right here at the top of your thumb, when you grab something, it squeezes up. Watch. See that bump right there? That bump can get caught by the slide, that part that jumps back every time you fire. That slide will come back and put a new bullet in the chamber. If you're holding it where that lump of meat is sticking above or in the way of the slide, when it goes back, it's going to grab that meat and slice the whole top of your thumb, meat or flesh open, because it happens really, really quick and it's all steel. It's sharp. Okay, so you could injure yourself just by pulling the trigger. Now, The other thing that was said, to keep the firing finger alongside barrel under the slide. The slide, you don't want to have no meat, lack of better words, flesh, where this slide works, if it's that type of weapon. Again, that's why I said it's difficult to do gun safety because there's all kinds of weapons and they move and act differently. So most people are going to have a slide weapon because they're easier to get. And it's not so much fumbling around trying to put bullets in where you have to dislodge the, that's another thing. But keeping the firing finger alongside weapon is how you walk around with the weapon. Or even when you pull it, you don't automatically go for the trigger. Because 9 times out of 10, if your finger is resting on the trigger and you're either investigating, walking around, or trying to figure out what's happening, and someone startles you, your reflex automatically makes the hand squeeze, which then dislodges the weapon, okay? Fires the weapon. So if it's up here, away from the trigger, alongside, someone scares you, you jump, but you still have the option not to kill that person because it could be family member walking around the corner. Okay, so you never put the firing finger down on trigger until you're ready to kill. And there is no other way to say it. Because once you put your finger on trigger, someone is going to die, either you or them. Just how it works. There is no, oh, well, this scenario is how that, no. Trigger means death, either by you killing them or them, if they have a weapon, killing you. Now, what I want to, that's all I'm going to go with that, because like I said, if you want real gun safety, first you have to find out what weapon you have and then find out how that weapon works. If you know which weapon you have, look it up, put it in YouTube. Beretta, 9mm, 45, Smith & Wesson, 500. You know, there's all kinds of weapons. So there's all kinds of different safeties. But what I will say, and I want you to do the due diligence on it and knowing, bullets do not give a hoot's butt who they kill. And you'll see, you know, movies on TV where the guy's standing, you know, next to the wall and he's, you know, another person shooting that direction and you see it all hitting the edge of the wall and he's standing there waiting to do his turn. The biggest lie ever told, don't ever do that. Bullets go through walls. Okay? That's why 90% of people get killed from someone who's skilled versus someone who watches too much TV, standing next to the wall where someone's shooting. And you see on TV this ricochet, yeah, you know, the wall's tearing up, but it's going away. That's the biggest lie ever told. If you get in a gun battle, don't stand up and don't stand next to the wall because that bullet's coming through the wall. Unless it's a brick wall. But even then, if that person is shooting a 357, a 500 mil, it's coming through the wall. If it's an AK, it's coming through. Smith & Wesson 500, you're done. Even some 45s, depending on what round they're shooting at you, it goes through the wall. You will be shot. The best thing or the best safest thing, if someone's shooting at the wall you're at, get away from the wall, get low, and move in a different direction. Okay? If someone makes it into your home, there's a way to carry where you're more accurate. You've seen people on the movies, they're walking through, they got the gun stuck out, and they're looking around the corner with their head and the gun sticking all out, the arm sticking all out, right? You've seen them walk around like that. That's not how you carry. Under attack. It's called close combat or close range firing. Close range firing means you don't have it out here. You have it here. Notice my elbows next to my rib cage. Guide hand underneath. Notice this next to my rib cage. Gun at 45 degrees pointed down. Real close to chest. Wherever you look, the gun goes. There's none of this peek around the corner. You know, that's what they're looking for. As soon as they know where you're standing, they're going to shoot the wall where you're at. Use a mirror. You put the mirror in these two fingers. Put the mirror up. You're at 45. The mirror's in his hand, if you have one. If you don't, use reflections off of the walls and windows. You have to use other things when someone's after you. Okay? That's how you do that. Close. Wherever your head turns, the barrel turns. So wherever you're looking, you have that opportunity to bring up 90 and shoot. Okay? That's just how you case a house, or if someone's breached your home and they're in on you, moving around. Close. Bring it in close. Wherever you look, it's looking. So when you do identify, don't say a word. You have to make that decision to move from slide to trigger. Once you go to trigger, that's it. That person dies or you die. So there's things you can do to eliminate that. One, knowing your weapon, and then you have to be ready to make that decision. And usually one or more die when you make that decision. Okay, self-defense is self-defense. It should only happen in the four walls. Never go outside to shoot somebody. You're going to jail for murder. Just some things to know. Like I said, put it in YouTube and understand all the consequences of handguns, rifles, whatever. If you choose to use that style of self-defense, know it clearly that someone is going to die at your hand. Okay? It's unfortunate. It's part of living by the gun, die by the gun. Thou shalt not kill. I personally prefer tranquilizers. If you are going to get a gun, use a tranquilizer with high potency darts, which means you shoot them within a minute or two or less, they're on the ground sleep. Not dead, not bleeding all over your couch, but sleep. Call the police, have them scoop it up. Okay? So just an option. Before you go to lead, I would prefer you use a tranquilizer. Same effect, less death. Okay, that's just an option. Now, if you don't want to go with that, or you think that a person can get to you faster than that stuff is going to go through, you have to remember something. When someone breaks an entering or is in the situation of heightened blood, whatever goes in their bloodstream goes much faster. So you see people, you know, or if you've ever watched somebody tranquilized or see it on where they hunt the animals or have to give it a shot, they have to put it to sleep first. They shoot it and it runs off and runs for a while and then falls over asleep. In the instance of someone breaking and entering, their heartbeat is pounding. That means the circulation is 10 times faster. You hit them with a dart, that knockout fluid or whatever it is going to get to where it needs to get to very quickly. Almost as quick as being shot, a little slower, but same process. No one died. You didn't kill somebody. 2, you're safe. Okay? If there's more than one, you know, you have to shoot one, move, get reloaded, and try to get the other one. But that's an option. If you're going to use the lead, know that someone's going to die at your hand. Still have to do it. If they're in the house on you or whatever, getting close or trying to attack you or jump in the car with you, you don't have a choice at that point. You have to make a decision. Just know that. All right? That's my homework for this week. Any questions? Let's go ahead and jump on questions. Really? No questions?
Mr.
Young,
Lewis, I have a question, actually.
yes.
So I want to go back to your earlier comments about what you were saying regarding people just following the opinions of others.
Mhm.
Would you say that that opinion that falls in line with the celebration of holidays as well, like
All
Christmas
that.
and Easter and all of it?
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
really and truly, we're following traditions from our families, but we don't know why we're following those traditions.
Mhm.
The same thing can apply. I just
It
wanted to
does.
comment on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Good comment. Good statement, because absolutely it applies. You put up the Christmas tree, you do all this decorating, all the red and the white. Red and white. You do all this red, white, green. There's colors, there's symbols. Who's Santa Claus? Has anybody ever seen him? No. It is a
I,
story. It is a opinion. It is a practice listening to other folks on what this is supposed to happen. Have you ever really done the due diligence? Does Rudolph exist? Does the North Pole exist? Is there kids up there or elves making toys? You have to due diligence. You follow things because everybody else did, grandma did, grandpa, pawpaw, mama, whatever. They all, put the Christmas tree up, make the cookies, put up the milk, made you think, oh, well, I gotta go to sleep because I can get toys when I go to sleep. Santa's gonna bring them. It's all a lie. So you've been taught to lie every December. Knowingly lie. You know for a fact he doesn't exist. You know for a fact there's no such thing as an elf. Mom and dad bought them toys. Sorry, youngins, but you need to know the truth. And the truth sometimes hurts. All of the holidays and things that we do and all this, number one, is all based off of what? You have to spend a lot of this to participate in a lie. Think about it. Valentine's Day. What is that for? Saint Valentine's, if you actually knew, go look them up. Where does that come from? What does it actually mean? And why are you doing it? Only on that one day. You should love her or him every day, not just Valentine's Day. Oh, let me do something special for you to make you think I care about you. It should be every day, period. That's part of being in a relationship. Don't get me on that one. Oh, but yeah, you're correct. Jaden, it's all a lie until you go ask the question, what is Christmas? What is it? What's Black Friday? Cyber Monday? You're going off of what you're hearing and go out and make impulsive expenditures because, oh, it's Cyber Monday. I'm supposed to go buy electronics. Really? What happened to next Monday? We're supposed to buy video stuff? Discernment. This is so powerful. And when you use it properly, which using it properly is simply asking questions. Why do we put the Christmas tree up? Who's coming to see it other than family members? Or people driving up and down the street, they look in your window, see you got a Christmas tree up. What is Christmas? It's not even the birth. On the birth, the actual date is incorrect. If you really follow it or try to follow it, really look at it. And you'll come to the realization, why am I doing this? And that's all of them. Easter Bunny, come on. Why would a chicken participate in a rabbit's festival? Bunnies don't lay eggs. Why are they involved? The cocoa bean has nothing to do with a rabbit. Why all this chocolate, candy? A rabbit's better stewed, in my opinion. Tons of eggs and chocolate and all this foolishness. Again, due diligence. You want to know something? Look it up. Why are we doing this? Ask. Get your information and share it. Did you know that? Did you know that? Are you aware that? Put out the definition, the due diligence that you did on it. Express it. Mom, Dad, did you know that Christmas comes from? Did you know that Halloween was you giving away one of your children? Trick or treat. The treat was you giving a child to pedophiles, to rapists. That's where it really came from. You put a child in a sack, tied it off, and put it on the porch. You ever seen a pumpkin on a porch? What is the facial expression of that pumpkin? Terror. That's because the child in the bag was completely terrorized because they knew that they were never coming home. When you understand and do the due diligence, you understand where it came from, what it is. Why are we doing it? People don't even know why. They go out, get the pumpkins, they get in this carving contest. How scary can you make your pumpkin? You listen and follow blindly. Now you know a piece of what Halloween is. A child tied up, put in a sack, tied off, and set on the porch for the goblins to come get. And they did this for real. That's where this all came from. The pumpkin is the child in the bag. The face on it is the terror of that child that knows that when they get picked up, they're never coming home. They're either going to be eaten, killed, or whatever they do to them or did to them. That's the face on the pumpkin. I bet a lot of you are like, what the hell did he just say? Yes.
Well, I actually I agree with everything you're saying because all of these holidays that we are indoctrinated to celebrate is they stem from wicked tradition. I mean, it's all pagan. Christmas,
Yep.
that is it's not even a celebration, it's more of a mockery to God because people would put up Christmas trees, which are the pine trees, and they put that up to signify that oh, God can't touch us. They did it to mock his power because the pine tree actually cannot be destroyed, even with fire. So that's what that symbolizes. And I mean, if you're truly in the word and you're aware of what the word says, December 25th is not mentioned at all. I mean, that should be a
Absolutely.
number one factor why people shouldn't celebrate Christmas, amongst other things. Easter, the eggs was painted red to symbolize the blood of children. I mean, it's all wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with everything you're saying because this is information that I've studied with my family. So we're pretty well aware. And I just wanted to open up the conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, 90% of the people in today's society go off of this. They do none of this. Okay, looking up yourself, understanding the concept, and does it sit right in your heart? Due diligence, the discernment and comprehension. Do you really comprehend what you are participating in and why you're doing it? Are you doing it because you did it last year or, uncle said do it? just like I used to hunt. You know, that's kind of staying to what and how we started, hunters, gatherers, you know, trying to stay in that realm. But when you think about it, this is what I thought about. The hunter-gatherers, from what we call hunting, the way they did it and the way we do it, it's two different things. I did it both ways. Number one, when I started hunting, I hunted deer, something that's very prevalent here, and they're everywhere. And I was one of the ones, I love the woods or being in the woods. I would go climb trees and just sit there. You see them walking around, you know, you see other things like that. So when I started hunting, just a real quick one, just real quick before I let you go. When I started hunting, the first hunt was done by the instruction of my tribe, which is Sioux Indian. The instruction is to use the things of nature. You only get what you can handle. Now, I don't know if anybody has ever ridden a horse ever in your life. If you have, you'll know what buck means. And buck is the arching of that animal using all of their power, their hinds and their front, to bow themselves to get whatever is on their back off. Extremely painful. The way we were taught to hunt is bow and arrow, and or what they call a buck knife. Now, these things get these names for a specific reason. The buck knife is a very large snap-out lock knife, basically. And it's used to skin an animal, take the meat, the fur off of the carcass, and it's also used to hunt. It's a very stiff knife, very sharp and very stiff. I jumped on the back of a doe, which is a female, out of the tree, landed straight on her back and cut her throat. One move, very painful because she bucked, but you have to, that's the hunt, okay? Got that animal, did that one. You had to, you know, heal from your wounds because it's not an easy thing. But that is the hunt. That's how you do it properly. That's being a man about it. So then, a couple seasons went by. I went out and bought 12 gauge. So this is a gun. You put a deer slug in it. You have to know the anatomy, where the organs are in the animal. And you get it in range, close enough that when you pull the trigger, something dies, remember? When you pull the trigger, you explode the heart. It only take 2 steps and fall over, done. No pain, no issue. Sometimes if you don't hit it right, it'll take off running. Now you have to track it and find it and bring it back. 2 different styles of hunting, one personal, one cowardly. Cowardly, I said it. Any man that takes a weapon into the woods, points it at an animal, and pulls the trigger and kill it is not a man to me. You're a coward because you used a weapon. The proper way to hunt an animal is hand to hand, hand to animal. Okay? You set traps, let it fall in a hole, stab it or whatever, the spikes in the ground. These things actually exist. Or you jump on its back and cut the throat. That's hunting. You ask some of these guys to do that, number one, they're going to say no. Number two, they're going to say, why would I jump on his back when I can shoot it? Well, let me ask you the same question. In the deer's perspective, I'm in my habitat, in the woods, eating, doing whatever. You jump on my back. Now, if I don't buck good enough to get you off of me, then I die because you're going to cut my throat. But if I have the chance to buck you off or raise up and throw you off, I have a chance to live and run away from you. That's fair. That's hunting. But when you sit up in a tree with a weapon and shoot it, even with the arrow, I never did the arrow because to me that's not fair either. It's standing still and you have a weapon. At least that's how they did it anyway. But to me, if you're going to kill something, make it personal. If you really want it dead, you'll kill it. If not, you're a coward. You're shooting it with something that it hasn't the slightest ability to duck or get out of the way of. Unless you make a noise, then he's gone or she's gone. But that's not fair to me. Okay? Same thing with fishing. That's the only hunting I do. The fish has an opportunity to either see the hook or shake it out once you hook it. It's a 50-50 kind of thing. Sometimes they just get the bait and you're left with an empty hook. He lived to, swim another day. Sometimes they get hooked, they fight, and throw the hook. He gets to live another day. You throw the hook back out there, one gets lazy. I'm just going to eat this and swallow it. So when the hook is set, it's down in the stomach, not in the mouth. He's going to die. So it's a 50-50 thing. They have an opportunity to get away. A deer does not. When you look down the sights of a weapon and pull the trigger, it's going to die or be maimed, run off somewhere and die, and the birds eat it. So you've killed something that you didn't consume. Waste. Whole different subject. My apologies. All right. Any questions? I'm going to jump off. Any other questions? Okay. Great job on the